So let's see what this looks like. And this does not adjust down any further. Alright. All this crap is going to go, or most of it will. If I haven't touched it in a year or two, out it goes. There's a lot of stuff here that's recycling. I've got a recycling thing, but they only come once every 3 or 4 weeks now, and that box gets full, so I've got a whole bunch of boxes here and stuff like that that needs to get cycled out. Such as my intention is to replace this Aventon electric bike with a Forte electric trike. Here's case in point. These guys have been by to pick up the recycling in like forever. This thing's just full. So, the recommendation is that I unplug it from the wall before I unplug it from the bicycle. Now, in my neighborhood, I have learned that passing airplanes will cause the garage doors to open sometimes on their own. And so I unhooked my garage doors a long time ago, and so did a number of my neighbors. So there's a fair number of us who do not use the electric garage door opener. Because of that, I have to lock the bike to this sign while I go through the house, close and lock the garage door, and then come out the front door. Which only takes 2 minutes, but during those 2 minutes, I don't want somebody to just pick up this bike and pop it in their truck or something. There's several reasons that I want to replace this e-bike with an e-trike, and this is one of them. Carrying cargo on the e-bike requires using this elegant little saddlebag system. Elegant, but not quite as convenient or as safe as I would prefer for carrying around a laptop. See, on a trike, I just have a trunk in it, open up the trunk, toss this in, lock the trunk, and here I gotta push this forward until that snaps securely in place. Now, it's a two-step process to turning this e-bike on. One of them is to hold and then double click there. Blue light means it's more than 100% on the battery. Now, I've got a pair of winter gloves way down deep in here, and it's cold enough. I want to use these outdoor research gloves, not my summer motorcycle gloves. All that stuff will get rearranged soon enough. Now, when I lock this thing up for longer periods of time, like while I'm at work, I've got a really big, heavy chain that I use. It's called a forget about it chain. Truth is, the determined thief will be able to get through anything. But avoiding thieves is kind of like outrunning bears. I don't have to outrun the bear. I just have to outrun you. So if I can convince the thief that my bicycle is too much hassle, maybe they'll go for another bicycle instead. It's not quite as much hassle for them to take. And step 2 is to turn on the controller. I'm going to take a step back so you can take a look at this machine. There it is, the Aventine Aventure, which is really a good bicycle. It's just that it's not the right bicycle for me. It's just that it's not the right bicycle for me. Now, what I had to do to adjust this bicycle for me, this is a real bicycle seat. It came with a much bigger padded seat and it sat down here. I had to extend the handlebars up, put a real bicycle seat on it, and raise the bicycle seat up because I don't ride this thing like a motorcycle, I ride it like a bicycle. Which means I'm pedaling all the time. Which means my legs need to extend comfortably to the pedals, which they weren't. Now here's part 2 of the process. Turn the controller on, and you'll see the battery's reading 100%, and you'll also see 0 there. I've set it up to 5. Here's my thumb throttle here, and I have to hit the throttle to get up on the bicycle. I hit the throttle, the bicycle starts, and then I can balance myself up. That doesn't bother me. I'm quite comfortable with that. Matter of fact, that's one of the advantages to this bike. Oh, let me turn the headlight on. You don't really steer the handlebars. If you start moving the handlebars around, you're going to get in trouble. You steer with your body. You just lean into whichever direction you want to go. And after nearly 50 years of bicycle riding, that's become second nature to me. I tried to ride a tricycle. I wish that I had gotten some video of it because I was horrible at it. It just kept pulling off to the left, and I kept leaning over to the right to try to get it corrected, knowing intellectually that I had to turn the handlebars, but having been trained from birth almost to not really move the handlebars, because that gets me in trouble on a bicycle. So a tricycle and a bicycle ride very differently. And this little winding path, this serpentining path here, this is the newest bike trail in town, and I love this bike trail, the Riverside Promenade. For one thing, it's shortened my commute by about 1.5 miles. And it's nice and new, and it's got these nice bright borders where you can really easily see where the trail is and where the trail isn't. Let me turn my camera down a little bit. There we go. This camera has 3 settings. One that apparently looks up into the sky because of the way my forehead is shaped. One that more or less looks forward, and one that kind of sort of looks down. I could use another one that looks directly down. But it was the cheapest camera I could get, and it works. So I'm not really complaining. And you see how this path serpentines a lot. It's just a stylistic thing that they built into it, because this is built for people to exercise along. So by serpentining, it actually increases the distance of the path. I can feel my bicycle losing a little bit of traction there because of all the nuts and leaves on the path. This is just a really nice part of town. Of course, I have a fondness for Indy. I chose Indianapolis because it's a really nice city. And I love all the bike trails here. That's a big motivator for people who want to move to a new city is, what does the city have to offer? Well, one of the things Indianapolis has to offer is fantastic bike trails. I'm thinking that because of the way this path serpentines, this will be an excellent there's a little kitty cat. This will be an excellent trail for me to train myself on how to ride a tricycle, because I'm gonna, with the bicycle I'm banking into all these curves. With the trike, I'm gonna have to turn the handlebars to handle all these curves. And so I think that this will really help train me in how to make riding a tricycle second nature, just like riding bicycles second nature. And riding bicycles almost easier than walking for me. It's just very natural because I've been doing it so long. So as you can see, I'm going about 20 miles an hour, and the top end trikes top end about 20 miles an hour as well. That's the speed limit that's set in the United States and Canada for motor assist bikes and trikes to still be qualified as a bicycle and still qualify to go on the trail. And your average bicyclist, and only a few years ago when I was riding a standard bicycle, before my knees gave out to the point where I couldn't mount or ride the thing anymore, it wasn't uncommon for me to hit 30 miles an hour. But my average cruising speed was about 15 to 20. Okay, there's nothing coming up behind me. So now I'm going to hit the roads for just a short little bit to the White River Trail. Now, the White River Trail, I'm headed east. The White River Trail is about a half mile west of here, and it swings way out on a wide loop. The reason I don't like using it on 16th Street, that's really the most dangerous crossing. There's no traffic control there, and it's a high traffic. 16th Street is a high traffic street, and where I cross, going downtown from up on the near northwest side, isn't too bad, but coming back, just the way that the foliage is set up, makes it really difficult for me to see oncoming traffic. I got somebody behind me here who would really appreciate it if I were to pull out of his way, but I'm not going to do that. He might be wanting to turn left, though. There's the left turn lane. Nope, he's wanting to turn right. And he's going to have to wait for me. Okay, it's safe on this side, it's safe on that side. Alright. So, that Riverside Promenade Trail sets me up where I can cross. I'm just on the street for a very short little passage. It sets me up so I can cross 16th Street at a light. And hardly anybody drives along this little stretch of road except for the people who live in what was once a baseball park and is now a whole bunch of apartments. But the time of day that I move, most people aren't moving. I like to move early in the morning, and this is one of the reasons why. It's safer for me is fewer people are moving. Okay, this road has been closed for construction for a while. Years, actually. Hardly anybody ever comes along this way, but I always check. Now I'm going to take this little gravel path that'll take me up onto the White River Greenway. So, because of the Riverside Promenade, I cut about a mile and a half of travel time off of my commute, which is nice because I get to work faster. But it's also really important because I can cross 16th Street at a much safer location. Okay, this part of the trail is old. They're probably going to rebuild it here before too long. It's got a lot of dips in it that I have to kind of keep an eye out on, so I kind of have to keep a slower pace here. And I've kind of learned how to ride around the dips so that they don't hit me as hard. And just take these curves nice and slow. Not just because they're curves, but because they're also pretty dippy. Now they're building another bridge down there. I'm hoping that they don't take out the bridge that I like to use. I don't see why they should. As you know, the new bridge would be good for western passage into the main part of downtown, but I drive along, or eastern passage rather, but I drive along the west side of downtown. There's the hospitals, and that's all part of the Indiana University, Purdue University complex, where IUPUI, from everything I understand, is getting a divorce, so I don't know if Purdue University is going to remain on this campus, or if it's going to remain a shared campus. I don't know what the specifics are of that divorce. So they've got the trail shut down here because they're revamping the trail and they're making it much wider and nicer. Sooner or later they'll do that to this, and I'll have to find another way to get downtown, which I'm not looking forward to. Okay, here's a bridge across Fall Creek. That's Fall Creek down there, which leads into the river, the White River, and we'll get to see more of that as I come back a little bit later in the morning. I'll probably make two separate videos, one for coming downtown in the dark and one for coming back in the light. This is now the most dangerous crossing. It's not too bad. I just have to make sure that there's not any traffic when I get ready to go across, but I can see a lot better here than on the 16th Street crossing. So this is 10th Street, which is also a fairly highly trafficked road, but again, the times of day I like to move are the times of day that most other people aren't moving. So I hit it at low traffic periods. There's one guy coming down there. And I've got the road to myself. I like that. Okay. And I'm in a no car lane, which many bicyclists, we use this little stretch here. There's a strictly bicycle lane because cars don't have any reason to be in it. Nobody coming. I can get back onto the White River Trail. That's the White River down there. I really like the White River Trail. Now I'm pretty much downtown. This is the Indiana University, Purdue University, IUPUI campus. Again, apparently IU and PU are getting a divorce. Okay, so another reason I want to replace this Adventure is because, well, I've got a bicycle seat. This is probably as good a bicycle seat as you can possibly get. I'm still a big, heavy guy, and my butt gets tired. And I've strengthened up my butt quite a bit on this seat, but it's still, you know, at my age, my butt gets tired. Alright, now this is Michigan Street. So I have to cross to get here. I have to cross 16th Street, 10th Street, Michigan, then I have to cross New York down there. And this is nice because these are controlled by lights. Oh yeah, you're thinking about running that red light, weren't you? You're thinking about it, but too many people watching you. Alright. I love these lights here. These are really nice. Originally, or a few years back, whatever they made those glass containers out of, I'm pretty sure it's not glass anymore. They were glass, and over the years they'd heat up and the top part would explode. So I drive down here, and all these things, the top part of the lamp would be shattered, and there'd be birds flying down in there and insects flying down in there, and they get killed by the lights. So they recently refurbished it and put in, I don't know if this is a better material or if it's just new. I think they probably figured out a better material to use that wouldn't wear out so fast because of the heat those things generate. I think also they replaced the light bulbs with LED, which is much cooler, uses a lot less energy, and develops a lot less heat, so hopefully these will last quite a bit longer. Okay, this is New York Street here, and we got a flashing light, which means I can go when I think it's safe. Another reason that I prefer a bike instead of a trike. With a bike, it's always a little difficult to get back going, because I have to put my foot down, then I have to adjust the pedals, and then I have to use the power assist to get vertical again. With a trike, I just sit there with my feet off the ground, and I've got 3 points of contact on the ground. It's a much more stable ride. And the thing about getting a trike is to be able to ride in all weather. As a bicycle, while I'm really good at riding it, this thing has dropped me a few times, and the last time it dropped me, it hurt. So I didn't break anything, I didn't damage myself horribly, but I was sure hurting for a few days, and I could see how, as I continue to get older and my bones start to get fragile, a fall from a bicycle could be very dangerous for me. So I want to trade this thing in on a trike, which, once you learn how to ride the thing, it's much less likely to fall over, and you can ride in all weather. So you can ride a trike on snow. Riding on ice, not a good idea for anything, but you can ride it on snow, which I used to ride a bicycle on snow all the time. I'm not going to do that anymore. Howdy. Back in 2012, when we got some serious snow, there's photographs of the paper published of me on my bicycle with a snow shovel strapped to the back, so that when I got to an area where I needed to dig it out, I could dig the trail out so I could ride. And like the first day after a big snow, I'd spend most of my commute stop, dig the trail out, stop, dig the trail out. But then for the next several days, because it takes several days for the snow to go away, I could ride the trail, and so could other people. We're still riding on a snowpack. I don't know if I've got that in me, but with a trike, that's a possibility. I'm not going to do that on a bicycle anymore. That was a decade ago. And more. Bunny rabbit. One of the fun things about commuting is I get to see all the flora and fauna, all the little bunny rabbits and cats, and I have to be careful on this part of the trail because it's brick, and every once in a while one of these bricks is missing, and you find it popped up on the road. Either hitting where the brick is missing or hitting the brick itself to throw me. I want to make sure people know I'm coming so they don't panic. Because I show up on this great big massive bicycle, it looks like a motorcycle. They don't know it's there behind them, they tend to panic, and then they'll just try to run every which direction, like it's not they're going to run in front of me. Whereas if they know ahead of time, they act annoyed, but pedestrians and bicyclists both use this trail and maintain an uneasy peace. Oops, that's not the throttle. The throttle's on the left side. This here is West Street, and it's a nice, safe street, reasonably safe street to cross. And nobody here. And again, that's why I like riding. What the heck is going on downtown? Oh yeah, that's right. We got a holiday weekend coming along. That's part of why I'm working a shorter day. Alright, I'm going to have to end this here because I'm getting close to where I work. And I don't want to document where I store this thing during the day.